From healing to high performance, this is the Warriors Ascent podcast. This episode is brought to you by Torch AI, unlocking human potential.
All right. Welcome to the Warriors Ascent podcast with your hosts, Mike and Matt. And we are here with another alum / mentor, Penny Cole. So as we said in the last episode, our mentors are exemplars of what right looks like. You know, they've come to us, they came to us, went through the program, executed what it is that they learned at the Warriors Ascent program, and then are here to pay it forward by holding space for students, helping us out with logistics and all sorts of things. But then I'd say most importantly, being an example of what can happen when you trust the process, when you embrace the tools in the program. So we're absolutely jazzed to have Penny Cole here. And so
Jazz hands.
There you go. Jazz hands, whatever, man. So Matt, before I go into the interview, anything?
No, I'm just happy to have you here. Being a mentor is a big deal. Like I came to the cohort 52 and really looked up to the mentors that were there. And I kind of looked at them as what I can be when time passes by, so that was really helpful for me to see, like, I'm going to get through this and I'm going to look like that person in, I don't know, a year or something like that through time. So I appreciate you being here and showing everybody else that you can make it through this.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. All right. So, hey, Penny, we'll start just by, as we did with the last group of mentors. I'll ask some questions. You don't have to remember anything. Just tell your story. So just tell us about yourself, your background, and what brought you to Warriors Ascent.
So my name is Penny. I've been in law enforcement for 20 years. And the majority of that, I worked as a detective working sex crimes, person crimes. And it made me really cold. It was the only way to get through it. I had some cases that I worked that were really tough. And I had reached the point where I was done. I had 3 lovely children, had a husband that loved me, but I was done. I had made my plan on how I was going to end my life. Very thorough plan. And someone at work mentioned Warriors Ascent. And I will tell you that in my head, I had to let my husband be able to say that I had done everything I could do. So I said I would come. My attitude wasn't right when I showed up. I think I was probably one of the most difficult people to deal with. But when I walked out of here, my face hurt from smiling so much. It's something that I keep doing. And I'm here sitting in this chair because of this program.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Jeez. I mean, again, we don't do this to, hey, tell us how great the program is, but it's humbling that it's made such an impact. I mean, it truly is. I mean, first and foremost, what we want is for people like yourself to find themselves in similar circumstances, to hear that, to say, all right, hey, Penny is like me. I am like Penny. Man, hey, and if the program can help her, maybe it'll help me. And that's obviously the message that we want to send, but I'll also at the same time say, hey, it really does provide, a great degree of, I'll say, pride and gratitude in knowing that we were able to make such an impact. So we appreciate that. And we appreciate you sharing.
Absolutely. The more people that do, the more people that come from walks of life, like you just described, a detective and all these really like this, to recognize that it's actually the hardest thing you can do to make the call to come to one of these things. And, it's not weak. It's not like you can't handle it. This is the hardest thing to do, is to come to something like this and get through it, and then, use it and change how you work things so that you can do better.
Definitely.
It's like the hardest thing.
Getting here was the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
I'm glad you made it here.
Thank you.
The other thing too and we've said this before, I think that people miss or lose sight of, and Matt's addressed this numerous times to some people, like, there's always somebody more needful than me. I don't want to go and take somebody's spot. Or they're like, well, hey, I've not, been in combat and have had people die in my arms, or, been blown up or whatever, blase, blah. But the fact is, so many people don't realize that it's just seeing horrible stuff over and over. And that has a deleterious effect on your emotional and psychological well-being. And I think that message where, hey, when you've been exposed to that much heinous stuff, the evil that men and women do, you can't not be, I'll say, scarred or impacted by that. And I think that should be a clarion call for people. It's like, hey, if that's what you're contending with and it's really wearing on you, you deserve to be, at this program.
Absolutely.
So, do you want to expound on that, or,
So I think the hardest thing for me was to realize that the way I functioned wasn't normal.
Okay.
And there are other people. And when you think about other people, you're like, there's someone else that needs my spot.
Right.
When I reached out to Warriors, I talked to Christy.
Yep.
And Christy kept telling me, it's okay. We've got a spot for you. You come here, you'll be fine. The fact that Christy kept calling me going, you're coming, right? You're coming, right? Somebody wanted me here. Mm-hmm. The fact that I felt so welcomed when I showed up on my first day was actually difficult for me. I went into my head and I hid there. I had an amazing mentor, and she spent a lot of time with me. If I can come in here as stubborn as I am, and I can realize that I'm worth what everybody else is worth, anybody can come in here. It's not a cure by any means. It's a first step.
That's right.
And you have to keep going with it. And we all slip up. But Warriors gives you that opportunity to say, here's your letters and here's your numbers. Now you got to keep going so that you can make words.
That's right.
So
not only are you going to slip up, but you're still going to hit obstacles, and bad things could still happen to you, no matter how good you're doing. I remember Mike told me, or he told our class right as we were leaving, if things are bad and it doesn't look good, just do an assessment of what you've been doing. Have you been doing this? And then double down on those protocols and get through it. And there was multiple times I had to do that. And I'm hear Mike say, double down. Mm-hmm. And instead of quitting, this is hard. This isn't working. I feel like quitting. It's like, I got to go harder. And that
Never
wasn't
quit.
normal. That wasn't a normal feeling.
absolutely.
But that's what I learned to do here too.
No, there's something to be said about that. Because it's, I'll say, somewhat counterintuitive, is you think, hey, I've learned all this stuff. That's great. Done it for a week, kind of been, I'll say, taken by the hand, all right, hey, this is how you do this. The whole, military left seat ride type of deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you get out to the world, and all of a sudden it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And, that was some of the feedback I'd gotten from people, is like, hey, be sure to, tell people that life going forward isn't going to be a cloudless sky. And you think to yourself, does that need to be said? And to be honest with you, it does, because I think so many people, come that Friday are in such a good place, thank God, that they're like, all right, hey, everything's good now. And going forward, my life's going to be fantastic. And unless you set expectations, realistic expectations, that, hey, you've got the tools and you've seen what life can be, but life is going to hit you in the face, make no bones about it, and expect the expected, the whole Stoic philosophy. And if you're not prepared for that, not only will you, again, be ill prepared for that, but I'd say, unfortunately, there's some people that are like, okay, well, this program didn't work. I mean,
Yeah,
if
right.
I'm feeling bad now, well, then clearly this program didn't work. When in fact, it's like, no, the program does work, but it only works if you work. You've got to continue.
Got to work. Yeah.
You've got to continue. And when you're at your lowest is when you need to be doing all the things and redoubling your efforts.
With that being said, did you find anything in particular here that was like one of your biggest go-tos on the outside or anything like that?
The hardest thing that I had to learn was to love myself. And especially in law enforcement, everybody else comes before us.
Right.
The old saying used to be, we go home alive. That's not the saying anymore. Everyone else is before me. So you spend your entire life taking care of everyone else. And Warriors taught me that I had to take care of myself. And that was really hard for me, to take time to take care of me. So one of the things that I learned here was there's a point in time when I just have to look at people and go, no, I have to take care of me now. And you have two options. You can wait or you can do it yourself. So I have an amazing husband who sometimes will look at me and he'll be like, you're taking care of too many people. You need to take care of yourself. And I'm listening to the ladies upstairs. And today, some of them started to say, it's selfish. And Carrie looked at them and said, you're not being selfish. You're taking care of yourself. And you could see the look on their face. And I'm like, absolutely. Absolutely. You're hearing it. Now process it. So Warriors taught me I'm as important as everybody else is. I'm not secondary.
Yeah, exactly. I know in the Army, one of our core values was selfless service. And it was the same thing. Like you got, I mean, for 20 plus years, I was the last guy on my list. You know, everybody else, you hear leaders eat last, all the things. And that's how we live, you know, and then you come out and find out you're now in your 50s and that doesn't work anymore. You know, things are broken. And those things that got hurt started getting hurt in your 30s because you didn't take care of yourself, you know. So, I think it's really important. I struggled really hard with that too because I just thought what you're saying is what selfish people or selfish people say. You know, it took me a lot to break through there.
Absolutely. But it's important. And it means a lot to me that I understand that. And to see them today start to grasp it is absolutely beautiful.
Fantastic.
No, that's perfect. You know, it's the mantra, self-care is not selfish, right?
Yeah.
We say that all the time. Carrie says that all the time. You could bring it back to Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, sharpen the saw. You know, we all know that parable, you know, about just recounting, you know, these two lumberjacks, young and old, are having a wood cutting contest, right? So the young guy's like, I'm going to take you old timer and cutting, you know, and he's looking over, and every time he sees the old man kind of sitting down, like he's wearing down, and this young guy's like, I got him. I'm gonna beat this old man. So about midday through, you know, looks like the old man's actually beginning to catch up. He can't figure it out. End of the day, the old man, he edges him. He just beats him. And the young guy says to him, he's like, hey, congratulations, old timer, but for the life of me, I can't figure out how it is that you beat me. Because every time I turned around and I looked at you, you were sitting down, you know, taking a break. And he said, son, you weren't looking close enough because I wasn't just sitting down. Every time I sat down, I sharpened my axe. You know, and you're like, that's interesting. So he was more efficient. So the reason I bring that up is if you're not taking care of yourself, you know, and not in a hedonistic, overindulgent way where I come first and no one here is doing that, but implementing the self-care practices and protocols that you know you need to do in order to show up as your best self. If you're not doing that on a regular basis, you're really not doing anybody any good.
That's right.
You know, and it doesn't have to be overindulgent. It means doing, you know, physical training, PT in the morning, getting a good night's sleep, eating right, maybe meditating, going from, you know, getting a massage, whatever practices and protocols that you have, you know, every day or at least a couple times a week that keep you sharp. There's nothing wrong with that. And again, using the military, jargon, the preventative maintenance checks and services. And Matt and I, we talk about that all the time. It's just like if we treated our equipment and weapon systems like we treat our bodies, we'd be relieved for cause.
Yeah.
Right? You'd be like, you let that equipment just it's now non-mission capable because if you abused it, but we do that to ourselves. And then we expect that we're going to function at our best and at full operational capability. And then when we're not, we're all surprised by that. So, yeah. So maybe best self-care practices. What are the ones that are your go-to? Is it meditation? Is it alone time? What is it that Penny Cole does to make sure that she's at her best?
So we do a lot of yoga when you're here this week. And I have to tell you, did not enjoy it much while I was here.
That's right.
But Carrie has some YouTube videos.
That's right. Yes.
So when I went home, I'm like, I'm just going to keep doing this because for a moment I took my tongue off the roof of my mouth and I took the stress out of my shoulders. And it actually felt really good.
Yeah.
I don't do it like I should. But 2 or 3 days a week, I have what I call my time. And I go to my quiet room, which has no distractions in it. And I literally listen to Carrie do yoga with me for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I've also learned that I have to just tell people no sometimes. When work wants this and my family needs this, and I start to go, yeah, but there's no me. So I've learned to actually say, I'm sorry, but right now, this is not a priority for me. I need some me time. And when I take that time to reset myself, I actually find that I'm more efficient when I come back. I'm happier. I'm not angry. And when I came to Warriors, I had a lot of anger and I didn't know I had anger. To realize how angry I was, I don't ever want to go back there again. So I take care of myself because I don't want to go back to where I was.
That's right.
No, I think I'll say genius for lack of a better word, in that taking care of yourself, you hit it right on the head, means that when you are ready, you can say, okay, now I can help you, or now I can be there for you. And you're in such better place, that you are in fact more effective, versus, all right, fine, here, let me help. And then it's just like, well, actually, you're no help at all. You're actually a liability because you're just so, oh my Lord. And then you hit it right on the head. We all feel it when you're just like, hey, I need some me time, or I need to take care of myself or whatever. And you feel like everybody is putting their needs above yours. You really feel resentful. You're like, hey, I'm a human being. I have needs as well. And when everyone sees fit to prioritize their needs over mine, or I'd submit to you this, you allow them to do it, then you're angry. But sometimes it's like you can be angry at others, but I think oftentimes, and I'll speak for myself, you're angry at yourself. You're like, why am I allowing myself to be an instrument for everyone else's desires? And I'm not standing up for myself and saying, hey man, I'll get to that later. Or, hey, I got this to do right now. And you're just like, what kind of a chump am I? So I think there's something there. And again, it's never, no, I'm not doing anything for you. You're on your own. It's like, hey, I'm not ready right now. Or, hey, I'll get to that, but I'll get to it when I'm ready. And then I'd be happy to help you. But I'm not going to be of much use to you right now because I need to take care of myself. But
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what I learned is mindfulness. I'd heard that so many times, mindfulness, be in the present. But now I see it so many times where like I'm thinking, so many moves ahead that I can't even see where I'm at, and like it's just kind of stealing from the right now to think of the future and or worry about the past when it's gone. And, just like being right now for a minute and just soaking that up and being okay with it.
I can't be in the present when I'm still standing in the past.
That's right.
And being present is an amazing feeling.
It is.
When you understand it.
And that means, to me, it means that I do have attention for you right now, whatever your problem is. And I know kids are one of the hard
Yeah.
ones on this, right? Because everything is about them. That's not their fault. That's just how kids are. And I think that's the hardest one, is to put a kid off. But sometimes you might need
Spouses are that way sometimes
spouses
too.
can be the kids.
No doubt.
I'm sure.
No doubt. So what advice would you have? We ask that all the time, is for anyone that's listening, if they find themselves, clearly I think your story will resonate with a great many, maybe people, with similar backgrounds, or maybe somebody that's like, hey, I see myself in Penny. What advice would you have for those that are like, I think I need some help. I could use some help. But I don't know if, I'm really that needful, or as is the case with many, someone else could use it more, or nah, hey, I'm good. Somebody that might be on the fence, they know something's not quite right, but are like either A, I'm not deserving, or B, yeah, I'm good, I'll work through it. What advice might you have for people? And if you're willing to share like your thought process as you remember when you were kind of, all right, should I, shouldn't I? What do you think?
Warriors has a spot for everybody. Everyone I've talked to, I've never heard anyone say they were told no.
Oh.
There is a spot for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you are every bit as important as anybody else is. And if Warriors has the spot, which they do, I promise you, when you come here, you're not stopping anyone else from coming. They will make a spot for that person.
Amen. That is true.
The hardest thing is to take care of yourself. And when you make that phone call or you get online and you say, hey, you got a place for me, you already started. You've already started. And they have a spot for you. Like I said, I can't think of anyone I've ever talked to that was told no. I talk about the program a lot. I have a lot of people that I actually work with that have been here, and not a one of them has ever said they were told no. So if you're feeling like, look at it this way, if nothing else, it's a week away from work with really good food and it's very calm. Come and try it. The first 2 days, I was not a pleasant person.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
At all. But somebody said forgiveness. And it struck me wrong. And somebody sat and talked to me, and I forgave so much. If you're in that spot, all you got to do is come and take away one thing from the entire week here, and you've started the process. They're not going to tell you no. It's safe. And that's something that we have a hard time with in our jobs and our lives, is safe. And you're safe here. You're safe. Make a call. Absolutely.
I
I totally appreciate that too. I mean, I think that's one of the things as we put these on, is to ensure that we get people here and everyone's going through the same calculus that you just discussed. Mm-hmm. And it's really good when, let's say they sign up, they have 3 months to wait to have one. And then we just got to try to contact them as many times as we can to make sure that, like, you got to make sure you're still on board, because people will wax and wane on whether they're going to make it or not.
My husband drove me here when I came because he was afraid if I had a car, I'd leave.
Yeah.
If I'd had a car, I would have left on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But Warriors will call you. They will follow up with you. If you call and say you want to come, they'll get you here.
That's right. Buy you an airplane ticket.
Absolutely.
Free for you. So, yeah, I mean, this organization is for real deal. It's here to help people. It's helping people every time. Every Friday that we have a graduation is unbelievable. I get to come to almost every graduation, and I see the same thing every time. That's what you said, is everybody's smiling so hard. Everybody's is just a testimonial to how amazing they feel. And then that cautionary tale does come out that, you're riding on this high right now, and just keep working this, because, that's how it keeps progressing, and that's how you stay where you're at. And we keep talking about, it's not about living, it's about learning to thrive. So I appreciate everything you did and come here. I don't know, how many times have you been back for mentorship?
Actually, this is my first.
Oh, good.
I've not only had the opportunity to meet the ladies that are here and hear their stories and watch them as they start to let things go and realize that they are worth something, but just listening again has been outstanding for me. Today, they walked the labyrinth, and I remember the first time that I walked it, watching them walk it today made me a little emotional.
Yeah.
I know they're going to do it again, and I can't wait until they walk it on Friday. I can't wait to see it.
It's a really good one at the end of the week.
Yeah. Believe in the process.
That's right.
Trust the process. Exactly. All right. Any parting shots?
No, other than just, I think you did it. You gave advice to anybody who might be on the fence, and we appreciate that. No, and just any advice about coming to be a mentor?
If you've been through the program, absolutely come back. It's good for you. It's a refresher. And once you're here, this place feels comfortable and it's like home. And everyone that I've seen this week that was an instructor for me or had some input into my week here, it's been good to see everyone again. I talked to a lot of you, but come back. Warriors needs you.
Totally.
So definitely come back.
Yeah. So appreciated, Mike.
Yes.
Thank you.
Penny, appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Warriors Ascent podcast. We're in Kansas City helping veterans and first responders with PTS. Check us out at warriorsascent.org.